A long time ago, in the land of Israel, the people were in big trouble. They had turned away from God again. So God allowed their enemies, the Philistines, to rule over them for 40 years. It was a hard time. The people were scared. They were tired of being controlled. But God was not done with Israel. He had a plan, and that plan began with a woman who couldn't have children. One day, an angel appeared to her. He said, "You will have a son, not just any son. He would be chosen by God from before he was even born." The angel told her, "Don't drink wine, don't eat anything unclean. Your son will be a Nazirite, set apart for God. No razor will ever touch his head." It was a holy vow. The woman ran to tell her husband Manoah. He was amazed. He prayed, "Lord, please send that man again, so we know what to do with the child." God listened. The angel came back. This time, Manoah was there. He asked, "What should we do for the boy?" The angel said, "Raise him the way I told you. Keep him holy, keep him separate. God has big plans for him." Then something amazing happened. As they offered a sacrifice to God, the angel rose up in the fire and disappeared into the sky. Manoah and his wife fell to the ground. They knew this was from God. And soon, just like the angel said, a baby boy was born. His name was Samson, a boy with great strength. Samson grew up strong, very strong. But this strength wasn't just from muscles. It was the Spirit of God inside him. God was with him from the beginning. Everyone could see this boy was different, powerful, but wild. One day, when Samson was grown, he saw a woman in a nearby town. She was a Philistine. He went home and told his parents, "I want to marry her." His parents were shocked. "She's not one of us," they said. "Can't you marry someone from our own people?" But Samson didn't care. "I want her," he said, and that was it. What Samson didn't know was that God was going to use this choice for something bigger. So Samson and his parents went to meet the woman. On the way, something crazy happened. Samson was walking by himself through the vineyard. Suddenly, a lion jumped out at him, big, loud, fast. But Samson didn't run. The Spirit of God came upon him, and with his bare hands, he ripped the lion apart, just like that. He didn't tell anyone, not even his parents. Later, on another visit, he saw the lion's body again. Now there was a beehive inside the lion's bones. Honey was dripping from it. Samson reached in, took some honey, and ate it. He even gave some to his parents. But again, he didn't tell them where it came from. Why is this part important? Because it shows something about Samson. He had great power, but he didn't always follow the rules. Nazirites weren't supposed to touch dead bodies, but Samson did, and he didn't seem to care. The riddle at the wedding. When the wedding came, Samson had a party with 30 Philistine men. It was a feast, loud, fun, and full of drinking. Samson told them a riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. They had 7 days to solve it. If they did, Samson would give each man a new outfit. If they couldn't, they had to give him 30 outfits. The men couldn't figure it out. So they went to Samson's new wife and said, "If you don't tell us the answer, we'll burn your father's house." She begged Samson to tell her the answer, day after day. Finally, he gave in. She told the men, And on the last day they said, "What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?" Samson was furious. He knew they cheated. He said, "If you hadn't plowed with my heifer, you wouldn't have solved my riddle." Then he left, but not before doing something shocking. He went to another town, killed 30 Philistines, took their clothes, and gave them to the men who solved the riddle. That was how the wedding ended. Anger, violence, and broken promises. A chosen man with a wild heart. Samson was chosen by God before he was even born. He was given power no one had ever seen before. But already, we can see the problem. Samson didn't always listen. He did what he wanted. He followed his own feelings. He was strong in body, but weak in spirit. Still, God was working, even through Samson's mistakes, even through his pride, because God had a plan, and he wasn't done yet. After the wedding, Samson was angry. His Philistine wife had tricked him. Her people had cheated to win his riddle. So Samson left. He went back to his father's house. But after some time, he cooled down. He thought, maybe I'll go see my wife again. So he brought her a gift, a young goat. But when he arrived, her father stopped him. "You can't see her," the man said. "I thought you didn't want her anymore, so I gave her to your best man." Just like that, his wife was gone. Then the man added, "Her younger sister is prettier. You can have her instead." Samson stared at him. He was done talking. He said, "This time I won't hold back. What I do to the Philistines now is their fault." And what he did next? It was wild. Samson went out and caught 300 foxes. Yes, 300. He tied them in pairs by their tails. Then he tied a torch between each pair. When all the foxes were ready, Samson lit the torches on fire and let them run through the Philistines' grain fields. Everywhere the foxes went, fire followed. The grain burned, the vineyards burned, the olive trees burned. It was a total disaster. The Philistines were shocked. "Who did this?" they asked. Someone said, "It was Samson, because we gave his wife to another man." So the Philistines burned Samson's wife and her father. When Samson heard what they did, he said, "If this is how it's going to be, I'm not done yet." He went and attacked them again. This time it was brutal. He struck them down with great force, then ran away. Samson hid in a cave in the land of Judah. The Philistines came looking for him. They sent a large army to the people of Judah. "Why are you here?" the people asked. "We've come to capture Samson," they said. "He's caused too much trouble." So the men of Judah, 3,000 of them, went to Samson. They said, "Why are you doing this to us? Don't you know the Philistines rule over us?" Samson answered, "I only did to them what they did to me." They said, "Please let us tie you up. We won't hurt you. We'll just hand you over." Samson agreed. "Fine, just don't kill me yourselves." So they tied him with 2 new ropes and brought him to the Philistines. When the Philistines saw him coming, they shouted with joy, "There he is! We've got him now!" But they didn't know what was coming. As the Philistines rushed forward, the Spirit of God came powerfully on Samson. The ropes on his arms snapped like burned thread. His hands were free. He looked around, no sword, no weapon, but on the ground he saw the jawbone of a dead donkey. He picked it up, and with that jawbone, Samson struck down 1,000 Philistines. 1 man, 1 bone, 1,000 enemies defeated. When it was over, he was tired, exhausted, and very thirsty. He cried out to God, "You've given me this great victory," he said, "but now I'll die of thirst. Will I fall into the hands of these men?" God heard him. God split open a rock and water flowed out. Samson drank. His strength returned. He was alive. For the next 20 years, Samson led Israel. He was their judge. He fought the Philistines. He protected his people. But his heart still followed his own way, and one day, that heart would lead him into more danger. One night, Samson went to Gaza, a Philistine city. He saw a woman there. She was a prostitute. He went to her house. When the Philistines heard he was in the city, they surrounded the place. They planned to wait until morning. Then they would kill him. But Samson didn't wait. At midnight, he got up, went to the city gates, and tore them out of the ground. He put the gates on his shoulders, huge, heavy gates, and carried them all the way to the top of a hill. No army could stop him. No wall could hold him. But strength can't protect your heart. And Samson's heart was about to fall in love with the one woman who would lead him to the end. Her name was Delilah. Samson was strong, stronger than any man. He tore lions apart. He crushed armies. He carried city gates on his back. But there was one thing Samson couldn't defeat: his own heart. And now that heart had fallen in love with a woman named Delilah. Delilah was beautiful. She lived in the valley of Sorek. When Samson saw her, he wanted her right away. He loved her. But Delilah didn't love Samson. She loved money. The Philistine rulers came to her and said, "Find out the secret of Samson's strength. Make him tell you, then we'll capture him." They offered her a lot of silver, and she said yes. So Delilah began her plan. One day she looked at Samson and said, "Tell me, what makes you so strong? How can someone tie you up and stop you?" Samson laughed. He didn't tell the truth. He said, "If you tie me with 7 new bowstrings, I'll become weak like any man." So Delilah tied him up with 7 new bowstrings while he was sleeping. Then she shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are here." He jumped up and broke the strings like nothing. Delilah was upset. "You lied to me," she said. "Tell me the truth." So the next time Samson said, "If you tie me with new ropes that were never used, I'll become weak." Again, while he slept, Delilah tied him up. Again she shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are coming." And again he broke free. No problem. Delilah got angry. "You're making fun of me," she cried. "You don't really love me." She begged him again and again every day. Finally, Samson gave another answer. "If you weave my hair into a loom and tighten it, I'll be weak." She did it. And again Samson broke free, but Delilah didn't stop. She kept begging, she cried, she pressed him every day, and Samson got tired. He told her the truth. He said, "I've never cut my hair. I was set apart for God since birth. If you shave my head, I will lose my strength." Delilah knew this was it, the real answer. She sent a message to the Philistines. "Come back one more time," she said. "I've got him." That night she let Samson fall asleep. Then she called a man to shave off his hair. And as the hair fell, so did his power. Then Delilah shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are here." He woke up and said, "I'll fight them off like before." But this time, he couldn't. The Lord had left him. The Philistines grabbed him. They poked out his eyes. They took him to prison. They made him grind grain like an animal. The strong man was now blind and broken. But something was happening. Slowly, quietly, his hair began to grow. One day, the Philistines threw a huge party. They brought thousands of people to a big temple. They wanted to praise their false god, Dagon. They said, "Bring out Samson, let him entertain us." So they brought him out of prison. He couldn't see. A young boy led him by the hand. Samson said to the boy, "Take me to the pillars that hold up the building. Let me rest my hands there." The boy guided him. Samson placed one hand on the left pillar and one on the right, and in that moment, Samson prayed. He said, "Lord God, remember me. Please give me strength one more time. Let me die with the Philistines." Then he pushed with all his might. The temple shook, the walls cracked, the pillars fell, and the whole building came crashing down. Thousands of Philistines died that day, including the leaders who hated him. And Samson died with them. The man who once lost everything gave his life to strike one final blow. His family came and buried him, and the Bible says Samson led Israel for 20 years. He was not perfect, he made many mistakes. He followed his own way more than God's. But in the end, he remembered who gave him his strength, and God heard his prayer. What can we learn? Samson had power, but power without obedience leads to pain. He had a calling, but calling alone can't protect a drifting heart. Still, God used him, even in failure, even in weakness, even in his final breath, because God is not done with you just because you've fallen. His strength is made perfect when we finally surrender.